Jay Blades has been charged with engaging in controlling and coercive behavior against his estranged wife.
Jay Blades is a British furniture restorer and television presenter best known for his work on the popular BBC series The Repair Shop. Well known for his skill and friendliness, fixed up valuable items on the popular display. Fans praised his skills and the kindness he showed. Brought to Every Repair, which is a series that makes you feel better with skill and care, but behind the scenes, something very bad was happening. Something so important that even this is what Anderson Cooper said about it. In the end, tragedy is what brought JB. No one expected Blades' career to unfold in this manner. A heartbreaking ending. The Repair Shop's heart, since The Repair Shop first aired in 2017. Quickly turned into a comforting and heartwarming food on British TV show that's different from many others. Some people. A simple thought that hit home with viewers. The idea is people who are honest bring in loved ones who are old and worn out, old things, and a group of skilled craftspeople. Some people use magic to fix these, getting things back to how they looked before. More touching than seeing a movie of history full of stories and memories. Bring life back to the center of this. Jay Blades was on more than one team. He became one of the restaurateurs. Best known and loved characters from the show. Faces. Jay brought along with him craftsmanship, but also a real sense of warmth and being honest. Made the show seem like going to a trusted friend's workshop. His repair skills with wood and his promoting an empathetic approach. Work turned broken and forgotten. Sometimes once more, things become treasures. People thought he cared about them deeply, about more than just the work, telling the stories behind each thing. What set the Repair Shop apart wasn't just the whole point was to fix old things. Connection. The things that were fixed were old things that are valuable in a sentimental way. Wedding dresses, toys for kids, letters from family and friends who had died on the team paid close attention to every detail. Yes, it was important, but so was their respect for what these things meant to the people who brought them to the show. A strong sense of the past and respect for handiwork and how important it is. History of Jay's family. His role is perfect in that setting. He wasn't just he was a skilled restorer and a nice person who made people feel at ease and understood how his smile and calmness could spread. Many owners felt confident, which were unsure of how to trust their giving valuable keepsakes to strangers over. Jay's story was also told at that time. People who watched the show knew a bit about his past, his journey, and his desire to help others was more. Rather than just a craftsman, he was a person who many fans look up to and admire. The Repair Shop was a safe haven for healing. It made people think about how important to keep stories from the past alive, keep the show's slow pace, and it stood out in a way that was true to heart. Crowded TV scene. It turned into the weekend a family tradition, a quiet moment of happiness and tears. But even in the most popular shows, even the brightest stars can often be hidden shadows. But people only saw Jay's happy face and skilled hands on the sea. What was going on behind the scenes stayed mostly out of sight. The show did not project a perfect image. The whole truth. It was hard and things changed, brewing slowly below the surface, ones that would soon change and spread the program's path and Jay's long-term job. For years Jay had been a sign of the show's soul and heart, so when rumors of his absence began to spread, the fans were confused and worried. Something was wrong because of it. Nobody knew how bad it was, though. It would turn into trust and warmth that people had grown used to now felt broken. But it's important to do this first to find out how much Jay and the rest of the team has built on the years you'll read about in the next chapter. The high points and moments that will stay with you that made The Repair Shop a popular show all over the UK, and why Jay's job was so important to that success. Beautiful restorations. The Repair Shop isn't just a show about fixing things. It's a group of stories about changes and moments that touched people's hearts. It became clear over time why the series gained such a devoted fan base, where Jay Blades was and why he was there. Important. One of the things that made the show so popular, moving deeply with audiences, was there is weight behind each restoration. A lot of what was brought in wasn't just old things. They were family keepsakes of loved ones that they treasure and signs that remind people of happy times. Gave the team things to do, like a grandfather's old Broken down toolbox, a mother's wedding dress, or a worn-out picture frame that held generations of history. Jay's skill was shown in many of these episodes. Show his fix-up wooden things in particular was great, whether they were fix a broken chair or give a family table. Jay took care with every task and calm, but it wasn't just the technical skill that people admired. It was Jay had a way of making people like him. People are at ease and hopeful even when the things they loved seemed more than. One episode that stood out showed an older woman bringing in a "she gave me a music box" grandmother. The part was rusty and the wood frame was worn down from Jay worked carefully for decades of use. He talked about each step as he cleaned, fixed and polished the fragile item. When the music box finally played its song, made people cry again. Eyes of a woman, and to many viewers as well, it made me think of the magic in the keeping things alive and the power to restore thought lost. Fans also loved how the show brought out a lot of different crafters. People who watched Jay saw experts in ceramics, clocks, leather goods, and metalwork. Every episode was a reason to party. Old skills that are becoming more today. Jay's role is much less common. His easygoing personality makes him stand out, and hands-on style made him stand out. As a link between the workshop's 7 years with the owners and the team, a lot of episodes had jaw-dropping fixes up. A broken Victorian house dollhouse brought back to its former glory, a wedding dress that is stained and torn brought back to life with careful sewing and taking care of. A broken family grandfather clock was carefully attached to after decades of silence. Tick again. These weren't just before and after stories. They were about getting better. History of the family and respect for the past. People who watched often shared their own stories, getting ideas from the TV show. Tales of treasure kept hidden in attics full of family stuff long forgotten but now important once more. Jay and the rest of the team turned into signs of hope that things are broken in life could be fixed. On the show too had times of funny one-liners and real warmth. Jay's laugh, and his quick wit and the way he can connect with people on a human level made the "it takes more" technical restoration work easy access. Seeing him gently reassure worried people who own them or talk about the stories behind things added a unique heart to the show. When things like this happen, the repair shop turned into more than just a TV show. Became an important part of culture and a reminder of how much family crafts are worth and of the tales things can tell. Jay was important to that feeling. His fame grew, and he became one of the show's big stars, often invited to social media, talk shows, and events. But fans loved these feel-good stories. The real story behind Jay's the career wasn't as easy as the very picture of trust and warmth that made the repair shop did so well, because cracks are slowly appearing while Jay's in public. She was seen as kind and skill. Events were going on off camera in ways that few people outside the immediate circle could get more attention. As the repair shop became more well-known, so did Jay. Blades think the show would be a hit? It wasn't just about the craft, the people who worked on it, and Jay became one of the most famous people in the public eye. Look at his sweet face and honest behavior made him a fan favorite not just on the show but in the news and on social media. Jay's popularity grew in a broader sense. Fans admired what was outside the workshop walls, and not only his repair skills but also he told his personal story in an open way, getting through tough times in his own life, including having a hard childhood situations, and putting his love for craft to find a reason people were able to connect with, getting to know him better and telling his story, one of strength and hope. On social, Jay gained a lot of fans through the media, praised his work and sent him clips of momentous events, and celebrated the good vibes he brought to the show feel like they were real and easy to talk to. TV stars rarely come across as his fame grew. Jay was often being asked to be on talk shows and interviews that raised his profile even more. Also, fame has two sides. While it brought praise and knew it opened up opportunities, but also put pressure on and close attention that wasn't always simple to deal with. The fact that you are a public figure, people often see into private lives. Attention of the public and any personal problems can quickly become the main story. The always being watched meant Jay's life was every move was watched closely. Saw every comment broken down and every absence was looked into. For someone who built a career on being friendly and honest, this close attention could feel invasive and too much. This pressure could be seen in some of Jay's own social. Fans also saw that he was active in the media, sharing more and posting less, often fewer updates than he said he would be, giving up all social media for good, pointing out the need to pay attention to after a terrible family event. It was a short break that made fans not worried, but aware of his right to privacy. Along with this personal tragedy, there were also other changes when filming began. For the most recent season of The Repair Shop, Jay was missing from a show for a long time, in which the familiar faces were important people. Liked his absence raised. The BBC didn't say anything about the issue. That adds to the speculation. Despite the silence, rumors began to spread. Some fans hoped Jay was just taking a break that they deserve, while some people thought something worse was going on behind the scenes of the show's production. Also changed in a quiet way, getting rid of episodes with Jay and changing the dates of planned tours and appearances. One thing about the situation was tricky. Jay was a well-liked person whose presence helped make the show what it was. On the other, the information gaps and stepping away from public view hints that there was more below the bring to light the difference between his public picture and these new things started to happen to make things tense and uncertain. Among rumors that fans are paying more attention to made things more difficult as some people thought the media started to look into it. Reports that go deeper into Jay's things in their personal lives that weren't public. This is where support and admiration began to mix, causing trouble and worry for those who had watched the show for years. It was hard to connect the friendly, skilled worker on screen with there are some troubling stories in the news. The trust that had been built up over time was being tested in a way that no one thought. Jay's career that was once a shining example of there was a lot of talent and happiness at a crossroads where the scrutiny is growing, and not having answers to questions set the stage for a news that would shock fans and everyone. The world has cracks below the surface of TV, especially with shows like as warm and friendly as The Repair Shop. Most changes don't happen without people who watch quickly can tell if there is no beloved figure or if the usually happy mood changes, and with fans of Blades began to think that even so, something was slowly changing. Before there was an official announcement, was the first person to drop a hint was Jay. Had been there all the time for 7 years, all of a sudden stopped showing up in new episodes. It wasn't just a lack of, it was a long time, and I missed a few shows. A gap that keeps growing, and going away from a well-known show doesn't happen often, and it doesn't escape the attention of die-hard fans. At the same time, Jay's own social media, once an account was active with friendly news and craft ideas, stopped coming in after that. He then said he was going to take I took a break from social media because of his own family tragedy and the death of his uncle. This defense was met with sympathy but also made people question it. It was clear that something was going on in Jay's private life, but no one knew the full story. As the months went by, there was more talk that the BBC took older episodes with Jay from streaming and the star wasn't on any of the planned tours and events to promote. It was unusual for a star that was so important to a show to be pushed to the side in this way. Insiders in the industry said there were big problems going on behind the scenes, but no formal statement was made. Behind the cameras, those who were close to the production was said to have found the situation made things hard for the team that had said to have worked with Jay for years to worry about, but they kept quiet. Respect for is a tricky thing to balance, but they need to keep the show going. At the same time, rumors started to spread. There is trouble in Jay's personal life. Rumors that there were problems in his marriage, but nothing was set in stone. For fans who liked how honest Jay was and happiness, the silence was unsettling in the public's attention. The difference between Jay's friendly, approachable look and the quiet disappearance was shocking, and it made a lot of people wonder if someone so loved could appear out of nowhere on a show they helped with. Shape of what might have gone wrong. When Jay's wife spoke up, there was silence. Their public split through social media and the news. This was the first clear sign that there were, in fact, personal problems behind the scenes. It was a moment of shock. By the happy picture of Jay helping people fix up family heirlooms was now very real and very human, all into one. Fights the real reason Blade's career ended after many years of happiness. Viewers with his skill and charm. The sudden disappearance of Jay Blade from The Repair Shop shocked fans and raised a lot of inquiries about the truth of the sudden end of a career is serious and complex in ways that go beyond the usual reasons for a TV star leaving. Here's the real why. Repair Shop. Jay Blades' "My career is over, and it's not good." To add to as tensions rose, news came out that Jay was facing serious charges in court. having to do with controlling and forcing how he treated his estranged wife. The information as it came to light, people and the media were shocked by it was said that Jay's actions had having a big effect on his partner, to worry about violence in many ways on some occasions. This revelation was a harsh change from the image of kindness and care that the public had grown to trust with him for a star whose career was built on putting broken things back together. The irony was painful and hard to understand. As word got out, Jay was kicked off. The BBC started to show a tour of a repair shop. Publicly separate itself from him. An old friend's face was no longer there. Not just from the screen but from the in public and in the media. These are serious accusations, not just personal ones, disagreements or private fights between the charges say that Jay's actions led to be afraid of violence on at least 2 times when legal terms control and it is illegal to force someone to do something. That show patterns of manipulation, threats and emotional abuse within getting along. This news shook Jay's world to its core. Public image. For many years, people saw him as a person who brings beauty and kindness, someone who helped bring broken things coming back to life and, by extension, healing and hope. Now this picture of hope was marred by unsettling claims that filled in a very different picture behind closed doors. It's important to fully grasp how serious the situation is. It's not easy to make these charges and need a full legal examination. Even with all of this, Jay pleaded not guilty. The charges against him, saying he was innocent. As the case went through Worcester Crown Court, but how it changed his career was immediate and could not be undone. The legal process was going on, and the public was not getting any answers. The repair shop, on the other hand, faced the tough job of moving forward without one important person in it. What made this even harder for fans was the difference between the Jay that they saw on TV and the claims made against him that the show had always been about trust and being honest. Getting back what was lost. Now there was doubt about trust, and what was happening had changed a lot when the charges were made public. The BBC did something quickly. Episodes with Jay where he was taken off of streaming services and he was taken off the tour of the repair shop. Not having him around was no longer just a quiet take a break or pause, it was a clear answer to the seriousness of the claims about a show that was built around trust between the craftsmen and the families, bringing in valuable family heirlooms. That there is a figure facing such the BBC and the charges were not valid. The film crew had to keep the honoring the show's reputation while also the ongoing court case. Jay didn't say a lot of words, it's time to go always. To my fans and supporters, the damage didn't end with the screen. Fans were split, and many had a hard time to get along with the friendly and charismatic Jay they had grown to love each other with. There are now disturbing claims in the headlines. Some people were shocked and disappointment while others held back until the legal system reached a decision. An answer about Jay's private life revealed during this time his arranged wife Lisa made their split public, making it official that their relationship that was once private were now in the open, which made the public sadness and confusion. What makes this story unique? It is striking how different Jay's the public face and the private problems now being looked at more closely. The story was it's no longer just about craft and repair, it was about mistakes made by complicated people and the results. I see this part of Jay's life as a friendly reminder that famous people are not vulnerable to big personal problems. Also shows how quickly a promising being accused of something can ruin a career. This kind for the repair shop to lose. Jay lost more than just a boyfriend. Presenter, it meant giving up a big part of the heart of the show. His absence left a hole tough to fill out on screen and behind the scenes. Jay's career still has a long way to go. Uncertain because court cases are still going on. What happens will change not only his private life but also his public and your professional reputation. If you are found guilty, Jay could have to deal with big problems. Up to 5 years in prison, which this marks the end of his time in the public eye. Even if found not guilty, the damage to your job and relationships will last. The way people think is hard to fix things after trust has been broken, where claims of abuse are present. What's next for Jay and the repair shop? After being shocked by the claims and many people were confused by Blade's sudden departure, what would happen to the repair shop? The show, known for having a warm personality and a sense of stories, had to deal with a problem that went. How could it be more than just casting changes? keep going without one of its most beloved stars. The instant response from fans was different. For some people the news was the devastating. Jay had become a sign of kindness and hope, a craftsman whose kind personality and real love is deeply connected with viewers. As not being there left a hole that couldn't be not hard to fill. Many fans were sad and confused on social media, are trying to deal with the difference between the Jay they saw on TV and the serious charges that led to his stopping a career. But the show had always been about restoring things, not just things but of feelings, memories, and the main idea was bigger things like relationships more than anyone else. The BBC and the crew knew this right away. Took steps to reassure the crowd. The producers stressed the strength and depth of the whole group of